place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Andrew Allen Pinson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I have been a resident of the state of Georgia
that I have been a resident of the state of Georgia
for the time required by law,
for the time required by law,
that I will administer justice
that I will administer justice
without respect to person,
without respect to person,
and do equal rights to the poor and rich,
and do equal rights to the poor and rich,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent on me as a justice of the Supreme Court of Georgia, according to the best of my ability and understanding, and agreeably to the laws and the Constitution of this state,
and agreeably to the laws and Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of the United States.
and the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Justice.
Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank you, Governor Kemp. Thank you, General Carr, for your kind words. And thank you to all of you for being here today on this special occasion, both for Judge Land and for me. I have to tell you, I am experiencing a little bit of deja vu this afternoon, and some of you might be too. Of course, Justices Boggs and Peterson were sworn in as Chief and Presiding Justice in a similar ceremony here just 2 days ago. And it was exactly a year ago today, I think, that the governor asked me to serve on the Court of Appeals. I was sworn into that court last August in a ceremony much like this one, in this same chamber. I think I'm wearing the same suit and tie, actually. The last time I was here, I expressed my gratitude for all the people in my life who raised me, who taught me about life and the law and how to be a decent human being, and who have supported me all of these years. I'm going to do a very lawyery thing here and hereby incorporate those remarks by reference. That said, I do have to hit the highlights, right? I remain so grateful for my family, for my mom, for my sisters, Lauren and Emily, for my wife, Sarah Beth, for her parents, Kenneth and Paula, and for the rest of her family for all of their love and support. I'd like to especially thank my nieces and nephew, Mary Jo, Dottie, and Cullen. A couple of them are in Vacation Bible School today, but to them I'm known as not Andrew, but Nunu. And after I became a judge, they actually made me this plaque, which fittingly says that I am now Judge Nunu. I'm not sure if they will update it to reflect my new title. If they do, maybe we can save the court some money on a nameplate for oral argument. I don't know. I'll have to check with them. I'm still grateful for the support of the law school at the University of Georgia. Former Dean Rebecca White, Dean Bo Rutledge, professors like Dan Coonan and Kristen Turner, and so many others who gave me a foundation on which to build a legal career and a judicial philosophy. I'd also like to thank President Jerry Moorhead, who actually was one who persuaded me to go to the University of Georgia's School of Law in the first place so many years ago after undergrad. It does not take all that much persuading to keep a kid in Athens for another 3 years, but persuade me he did. I'm still grateful to Judge Santel and Justice Thomas for the opportunity to clerk for them and learn from them, for adding me to their clerk families, which have been a constant source of support. Two of my co-clerks, Brian and Rebecca, flew across the country to be here today, and I'm so glad to count them and so many others as friends. And I'm still grateful to my former colleagues at Jones Day, some of whom are here today, to A.G. Carr and my colleagues from the law department, including Justice Warren, who I'm excited to get the chance to work with again and get edited again. They've been wonderful mentors. They remain good friends. But a year has passed, which means that I somehow have to make room in these brief remarks for more gratitude, because there's a new group of people who have become a part of my life. First and foremost is the Court of Appeals. It's been a true joy serving as a judge on the Court of Appeals over the past year, and that's in no small part because of the people who make up that institution. The court staff, from the clerk Steve Caslin and Deputy Clerk Chris Smith, the talented attorneys on central staff, the rest of the administrative staff. They play such a big role in making sure that we as judges can effectively do our job of upholding the rule of law and seeing that justice is done. Those kind and talented people welcomed me into the fold, helped my chambers get up and running, and they worked tirelessly to support the work of that court, even and especially in the late hours on distress days. Thank you too to my chamber's staff, my staff attorneys, Catherine Jackson, Elizabeth Stone, Adam McClay, and my judicial assistant, Angela Cook, all of whom are here today. They know as well as anyone the work that goes into deciding the high volume of appeals that come through that court and comes through chambers, and doing that while giving every party that comes before the court the care and the thought and the attention that they deserve. That work just doesn't get done, or at least done with excellence, without their efforts, and I'm so glad to have their help and support as well. Finally, I can't say enough about my colleagues on the Court of Appeals. Every one of my 14 colleagues is a thoughtful jurist, and I had the chance to see firsthand that they are also just good people. When I first came onto the court, every single one of them got in touch to welcome me and offer their assistance. And then throughout the year, they were always willing to offer advice and support as I got used to the work of judging. That's one great thing about appellate courts. Every judge joins that court with a different set of skills and experiences, but you get to lean on your colleagues to get the job done. And collectively, the Court of Appeals just brings a wealth of wisdom and experience to the table. And so I'm grateful that I've had this opportunity to work with and learn from all of you. And here I'll say too, Judge Land, I'm really excited for you that you too now have the chance to work with and join this wonderful institution, and to work with and learn from these fantastic people. I think you're in very good hands. Finally, moving beyond the Court of Appeals, I'm thankful for the new friends that I've met across the state this past year. As holders of statewide judicial office, I believe that one of the most important things that we can do as judges is to meet and build relationships with the many members of our bar and the public across the state. Compared to our other branches of government, the judicial branch is unique and I think special in that it really requires a kind of public-private partnership. Boiled down, our job as judges at any level is to decide cases, to resolve disputes between parties. On the civil side, that means that we have very little to do unless private parties bring us a case that they need help resolving. And for both civil and criminal cases, the judicial branch just cannot work unless the parties before the court, represented by counsel, do the hard work of building the record, of presenting the facts, and presenting the law to us. And I think that partnership runs so much more smoothly when we know and trust each other. When we as judges can have faith that counsel will be candid with the court and act in good faith, and when the parties know that the judge will treat each party fairly, put aside personal opinion, and apply the law as it's written. It's one thing to know that attorneys and judges have taken oaths to that effect, but it's another to know that because you know them as people. And for that reason, I am so grateful to all of the people across the state, many of whom I'm so glad to see here today, who have not only taken the time to get to know me, but who have gone out of their way over the past year to help me build these kinds of professional and personal relationships with the members of our bar and with others that are so important to our system of justice. I hope and plan to continue to build these relationships on my tenure as a justice of our Supreme Court. Speaking of which, to my new colleagues, I am honored to have this opportunity now to work with you. Chief Justice Boggs said Monday that he believes that our state's judiciary, from our trial judges to our Court of Appeals to our Supreme Court, is the best in the country. I agree. Having worked for many years on the other side of the bench, for some time now as a judge whose work you have been grading, I know that you, along with your former colleagues, including your newly former colleague, Chief Justice Namias, have helped set that bar high. Rest assured, I'm ready and eager to continue this court's long tradition of excellence. And finally, Governor Kemp, thank you again. This time for trusting me to serve on our state's highest court. A lot has happened since you swore me into the Court of Appeals almost a year ago, but what I told you and those gathered here on that day has not changed. I remain deeply humbled and honored and excited to serve the people of Georgia by doing my part to uphold the rule of law. And now I'm ready to get to work. Thank you.